Are what the Celtics doing sustainable?
No, is.
Is it sustainable, Mazz?
No. No, again, you're not going to go. What were they in the first half? 13 of 20, 65%.
6 of 8 in the first quarter, and then 65% in the first half, whatever that was. I think it was
not sustainable.
Right.
Not. Fact. Not sustainable. There's never been a team in the league, in the history of the league, that's been able to sustain that. So, what I would tell you is they're going to have now. I'll tell you what is sustainable for the Celtics: their defense. Their defense is sustainable. That's a real thing. The way they play defense is a real thing. Again, assuming health, obviously. But is the three-point shooting sustainable at that rate? My answer is no.
No, and that's not being negative. It's just, history will show you it's just not. You're not going to hit threes at that level, game in, game out, through this series or any series going forward.
So they're going to have to find easier ways to score.
Yeah, they had a hot night.
Is the style of play sustainable to win the series?
No. Not shooting all those threes. No.
Not all those threes, but one of the things I liked early, and Mazz, you texted me about it, is that I felt like they kind of found their rhythm by also shooting some twos inside the perimeter, which good. I was hoping they were going to do that in this game, and they did.
So to me, this was something they did early in the game. They didn't necessarily get back to, but I noticed in the early part of the game. In fact, I'm looking at the game log in front of me right now. First bucket of the game, Jaylen Brown, 20-foot pull-up. That's inside the line. Al Horford, 19-foot jump shot inside the line. And you can go right down the list. There were a couple of others of those, I thought, in the early part of the game where they were taking jumpers inside the line. Now, they didn't keep doing it all night, but they did it early, and I'm wondering if it did sort of loosen up the floor a little bit, that it forced Milwaukee to kind of pinch in maybe and open up the three-point shooting a little bit. They moved the ball a little bit better, and so they made them.
So they went from 10 two-point baskets in game one to 18 last night. It's better. Yeah, it's almost double. 18 is still not exactly, you know what I mean?
No, you need more.
It's still just, they still have more 3-point baskets than 2-point baskets. They still have more 3-point attempts than 2-point attempts. They had 43 threes. They went from 50 attempts to 43. And so they had, whatever that is, 43 to 37 in 3-point attempts to 2-point attempts. Can you win the series doing that the rest of the way?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
I don't think so either. It's why I had the Bucks to begin with. I still do. And that's not to say you can't win it. You can change your approach a little bit. But just to be that reliant on that shot, and you're not Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. I think you have excellent shooters. Don't get me wrong. Grant Williams was out of his boobs last night, but he's a good 3-point shooter. He established himself as that during the regular season. Now, he's not 6 of 9. He's not that good. He's 4 of 9. But I just don't think anyone can win that way. And let me tell you, I think the Bucks slaps into it too. They haven't this series yet. But they get very 3-point reliant too. And I think when they do that, they don't maximize what they are, and that's not how they win. That's not how they win. You win a given night, obviously. You get hot for a week, maybe you can win a stretch of games. But that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable what the Celtics did last night. And which isn't to say that it was fool's gold. I think they came out with a energy, a mindset, and that to me is probably the best news, is that they
answered.
Yeah, they answered, Mazz, for lack of a better word. And there might have been some lingering doubt with us on that, which I think is fair, given their track record and given that the Nets, in hindsight, were not a very formidable opponent. This is a different kind of opponent, and they were without Marcus Smart. And so what was going to be their mindset? And they had it. And so, I think they earned that good shooting night. It's just that you're just not going to do that every night. You can't do it.
Well, look, and I'll tell you what, I'm not sure you can do it for a whole game. In the second half, they shot 30% from three-point land. So, when you look at the numbers, you say they were 7 for 23 in the second half. So really, all the damage came in those first 2 quarters. You could even say just the first quarter alone. But let's keep it to the first 2. They shot 65% in the first half from 3. It won them the game. I didn't like the second half of this game, if you want my honest opinion.
Oh, me too. Especially the third quarter. Like, it felt like they couldn't buy a bucket in that third quarter.
They played isolation ball, and they took too many threes. In the first half, they started out by taking some twos that were there. So do it again. And the other thing that does, aside from the fact that it potentially affects the defense, you get a little bit of confidence. You feel a little smoother with your stroke, and now all of a sudden maybe you're making the threes. But I like the way the game started.
Same.
Inside the line, taking twos without going into the paint and challenging Giannis and Lopez. It's exactly what they should do when they want to get going. They need buckets. Take a two. Shoot a two inside the line.
And that they went away from it, too. I know don't cross sports, but didn't feel like that was almost like scripted? Like that's what they wanted to do to start that game, see if those shots dropped, and then they got into a rhythm, and then they went away from it.
Definitely.
Yeah, me too. I felt the same way.
But that's not unusual. You know, we're going to attack the paint. We're going to touch the paint, kick it out from there. If the shot's there from two, you take it. And so you come up with a game plan, and then it sort of dissipates from there. I mean, I don't think that's all that uncommon, but I think it definitely happened. I still think they were sneaky. I think one of the sneaky things in this game is that they were sneaky clutch in the second half. They weren't great, but there were several points in that game where the Bucks started to creep. There was, slight creepage. It'd get to 12.
They got to 8, didn't they?
It would get to 13. Did it get to 8 in the second half? It might have gotten to 8 in the second quarter. I don't remember if it got to 8 in the second half. I felt like in the second half, it was the closest you got was 13, 12, 11. I felt it got to like that point a couple different times. And the Celtics would come down and either hit a three or hit a bucket to put it back up. They'd come down, miss, grab an offensive rebound, kick out, hit the three to get it back up to 15. And I felt that happened like 2, 3, 4 times in the third quarter. So while you let go of the rope in the second half, you still were engaged enough and timely enough. And I thought that was sort of a underrated part of that ball game. Something that's not underrated and is real is that the defense on Giannis, again, just remains excellent. And I think he's leaving some points on the board there. I think he's got another level to go because there's some plays to be finished and he's not finishing them. But it's not like he's missing uncontested, wide open bunnies. There's always some sort of contest. And it's just Grant Williams with the body or Horford with the body. And then there's usually another set of hands just up there somewhere, altering that shot slightly at the rim. And when he's not dunking, and even if it's a 2-footer, there's another hand up there. It's just disrupting him enough, and I just think the defense on him has been excellent. And that is more sustainable. I know you mentioned this already, Mazz, but that is more sustainable than the 3-point shooting.
I mean, their defense is legit. Their defense will travel game to game, city to city. It will travel. So that they can win the series playing defense. They can do it that way. Now, I don't know if they're going to hold Giannis to, 38.5% in the series. I think he's shooting. I looked it up last night at one point. I did the math. It's about 38.5%. Giannis shoots in the 50s for the year. Okay, he's not going to spend the whole series at 38.5%. But they're doing a great job on him.
I just don't know how sustainable that. You can win other ways. But this thing, last night, 6 of 75% on 3-pointers in the first quarter, while Giannis is going 1 for 7. After that, I don't know what else matter. If that's going to happen, in the first half, you shoot 65% from behind the line, and Giannis goes 2 of 12. You're winning that ball game.
Game over.
It doesn't matter if Marcus Smart is your point guard, Derek White is your point guard, or Jimmy Stewart's your point guard. It doesn't matter anything else. Grant Williams, Rob Lowe, Tennessee Williams. I don't know. I'm making up names now. It doesn't matter. Your shots go down like that, and you continue to play D on Giannis. That's it. So I'd say half of that is formula. Not that you're going to keep Giannis to 2 of 12, but just being in his kitchen like you are, you can do that. The 6 of 8, the 13 of 20, no, you can't. And so the offensive approach has to change a little bit. The defense, you just got to continue it through.